What's good, superstars? Back with another VV video. You got Superstar Joe. You got Superstar Rob. How's it going, Rob?
Pretty good. You?
I paused them.
Take me off pause. Take me off pause.
Play. There we go, guys. There we go. If you are new here and you want to have some pausing capabilities across the Zooms, make sure to become a superstar. Hit the subscribe button. When you hit pause on your remote and you aim it at somebody, it's going to pause them mid-chair shot, and you will be safe from all future attacks. So make sure you become a superstar. Very, very important power to have. Hit that bell notification. You'll know when we post. Today's a late one. Sometimes we post a little earlier. You will never miss it. Oop, unpause. And also, follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram, and follow us on TikTok. Send us your videos, send us your pictures. We'll post them. You'll become famous. We talked about it a bunch. Lots of people are becoming famous and getting recognized on the streets. Follow us on VEVE. We'll follow you back if we see it. If you get friends, you get some more MCP points in the future. It's awesome. 6909 Fastos for 9.9 million superstar money on the VEVE app.
That Fastos has been it's legendary now. That Fastos, legendary.
Yeah, I think if somebody bought it, I would kind of miss it. Like, even if they bought it for that much money.
I wish we could make it 10 million because I don't want to sell it 9.9.
Yeah, I know. Maybe soon. History. Maybe with the hashtag soon web app coming for everybody. I'm going to bring up the Twitters here. We have the giveaway. I want you guys to remember that tomorrow is the last day to enter for the VEVE giveaway. There are 65 comics and collectibles you can get. If you go to their Twitter, they got it right there. It's called Goodbye Season 3. You click it, you enter your information, and there's a bunch of ways you can get more entries. So make sure to do that. It's just a chance at something free. So why not? Also, we have a New Mutants comic coming out, New Mutants number 87. Now, I don't know if you have the information, but I think one of the superstars left some data in the chat.
I'll pull it up right now. I just want to say something. I've anointed Superstar L Champ as our comic book consultant. He is Superstar comic book consultant L Champ. It's quite a long message here. Gave us a very detailed message. So I'm just going to read it out here. So he says that New Mutants 87 has an interesting popularity / price history and is a good example when compared to New Mutants 98. That character popularity drives prices. In the early 90s to 2000s, New Mutants 87 was hot. I can't say the word because Cable was popular and heavily speculated on, and New Mutants 98 was as cold as ice. Recently, with the popularity of Deadpool and the cooling of the popularity of Cable, they have reversed positions in market pricing. Today, a 9.8 New Mutants 87 runs about $650, while New Mutants 98 goes about triple that amount. Hard to say if this comic will be a hit or a dud with the VEVE group. By the way, if you like cover art to New Mutants 87 and 98, then you might be a Rob Liefeld fanboy. Lol. He's an artist for both books. About a year after these books were published, he, Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, and a few others and most influential artists at Marvel left to start Image Comics together. Just a little added history for your fans of the comic book space. And I told him, incredible analysis. You are now announced as Superstar comic book consultant L Champ.
Amazing.
There you go.
Amazing. Go like thank L Champ in the comments. Go thank him in the comments. And honestly, thank you so much for giving us those details. It's really cool to see that kind of, it looks like Cable used to be the going guy, and then now Deadpool kind of flipped him just because of popularity in the movie. So maybe movies kind of do matter. They kind of change the narrative. They change how people feel about certain characters. Maybe if Cable makes a comeback and people like him, then maybe that means that you're going to have this Cable book coming back. Because look at it. First of all, this ultra rare cover is really cool. It's nice. Stepping through the smoke, you got the baby blue, you know, the superstar money colors going on there a little bit.
Not as good as some other ones on the app.
Yeah. So what's it ranked on VEVE rank? Has he ranked it yet? C
ranked. I'm going to pull it up quickly here.
Yeah.
C rank. So clearly Sleepin's he's not too hot on this one. It's not a D though. So, I mean, at least it's half decent to have in your collection. And just to add to that, we ran the spreadsheet, and what we found was with our price predictions, we actually assumed that we thought that maybe the common might go for 6, but if it's a tier C, it might go for less. No, you think it's still?
I think so. I think you might be right. We were kind of looking at the vengeance numbers. Maybe put it like 5. Let's try that.
Uncommon at 7 still, you think?
Yeah, 7 or 6. Maybe 6. Maybe go on the lower end since it's a C tier.
Okay. And then 14 for the rare.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair.
40 for the ultra rare, 136 for the secret rare?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, if this is the case, the more you get, probably the better you are. It looks like the 4th hit is optimal of the 5. So if you're going to go for only 1, you probably won't walk away with much. But if you're able to get your hands on maybe 3 of them, you have a 1/3 chance of maybe getting lucky. So
try to get 3 to 5 according to our predictions if we're anywhere close in the secondary market.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that with these 30,000 mint drops, it's not that hard to get at least 2 or 3 hits on these, right? I haven't tried in a while. What do you think?
No, it's been that way, especially when it's not a popular comic. I've seen a little bit of different sentiment on this comic besides what you've shown from VEVE Rank. I've heard differing things in the Twitter space. Some people are hot on it. And also, like you saw El Champ's comment, Superstar El Champ, it seems like he's kind of a little bit hot on it, saying it used to be a big book. It became less popular, but maybe with the resurgence of cable, this might be a nice one to sit on. So I'm definitely going to go for as many as I can get on this. I actually really like the covers. It's just a personal cover. There's been a bunch of covers that I don't like. This one here, like even the rare, like he looks like a super machine there. It reminds me like kind of Halo-like with the guns and the robotics and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to definitely go for it. I'm going to try and get 3 or 4. Okay. It looks like 4 is the optimal. Maybe I'll stop at 4 if I can get it, and then we'll see how the scan ran.
I am going to add, probably next time we do this, I am going to add one more thing to the spreadsheet because I want to know the average return at that 44%. It just helps you decide whether or not it's, maybe you have a 44% chance of getting an average return of like 60 gems. Yeah. So then you think about it, you're like, okay, well, 4 times $7 is 28. And then, I make 60. Okay, maybe I want to take the chance. It's just extra data to help decide whether or not you want to go for the gamble or not.
That's pretty cool. So anyways, you guys are all here because you've seen the title of the video. And we have a lot to talk about when it comes to that. First of all, I want to shout out someone we keep going back to the well. I don't even know if they know that we exist at this point. But Superstar Pudding Cheeks doesn't follow us back on Twitter. If you're watching this, follow us back. But has an amazing Omi burn sheet. If you don't know about it, fantastic. We reference it all the time because he has all the data. And we are always referencing this little column L on the right side here. Gems in app, that is how much money is left in gems in the app to spend. So basically, if you were to liquidate everything, there's that many gems right now. If nobody were to buy new gems, that's how many gems could be spread throughout the app. So we already know there's not enough gems to cover the floors of everything. So all the floors are kind of fake. We've talked about this before. But we also have other data. If you guys are able to go onto Mutascan, because now we have a Mutable X, we can track everything. A Mutascan tells you how many tokens have been minted. So since the beginning of VEVE, 5.8 million tokens minted and 607,000 unique wallets. So that 2.5 million user base is not really the truth, appears. But 607 unique owners, maybe some of these accounts are no longer in use because they've gotten destroyed in terms of, I know we got a bunch of friends who came in January and just probably aren't even looking at the app at all.
Yeah, and not just that. I think Bravos Assassin, Superstar Bravos Assassin's already kind of given the data. I think there's only 250,000 people with actually only 2 or more. So yeah. I think of that 607, only 250 actually only own 2 or more mints.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you how many wallets are just sitting there with just one.
So we wanted to talk about these grails, and I know it's on a lot of people's watch lists, and people are wondering, is it at the time? Do we buy Todd? Do we buy Superman? Do we buy Walt? Do we splurge? Is now the time to splurge because they've come down so far from their all-time highs? And I'm going to be honest with you, I have gems to buy Todd. I'm not buying Todd yet. It's not the time for me. I haven't seen anything that says that we've had a change in catalysts, anything that says that we're going to have a catalyst event. Hashtag soon is not good enough for me. Even I think when MTL comes, it's going to be a downward momentum before it's an upward momentum, just because people are going to finally be able to offload. And then the web app being pushed out to everybody will allow people to bring more money in at a little bit of a cheaper rate, but you still need that MTL in order to get people to cash out at a higher rate. So there's less off-app gem purchases.
And I want to add one more thing. Like, I would be thinking differently about the Catalyst events if VEVE didn't specifically say they're not ready to market, right? So if they were ready to market, then I would be thinking Obi-Wan Kenobi series is coming out on May 27th. Maybe we're going to get a Star Wars collectible, and then Disney and everyone's going to promote, go buy this digital NFT Star Wars collectible. But after hearing them say that they're not really ready to market yet, it makes me think that they probably won't use this opportunity to grow the user base. So for that reason, I agree with you. Again, like if I had the gems, I don't, you do, to move on to Todd right now, I probably wouldn't, because I don't think that VEVE even wants that Catalyst event right now.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think that also we now know that MCP is not in the plans for Q2, which
they actually said that. They said originally in February, they were just like, MCP, we're thinking hopefully end of Q2. They're like, but don't hold me to it. Now it's like, recently Alex says like, no, it's going to be just KYC.
It got the comics in showroom treatment. It got the comics in the showroom treatment. It was on priority until it wasn't a priority anymore.
Well, let's pull up the spreadsheet and put some math to the numbers you just presented there. So if I pull it up here, right? We just wrote down what Superstar Joe just mentioned here. 607 unique wallets, 126 mil number of gems in app, number of gems purchased all time, 336 mil. Number of tokens minted, 5.8 million. Daily increase in gems net, 50,000. So this is.
Let me pull that up. I'll explain that 50,000. So guys, if you want to understand how we're getting that number, the first four numbers we can show you the total number of. I'll get them all actually. So here's the total number of tokens minted. Here's the number of unique owners. Those are two of the numbers he has there. The other numbers are gems in app, which is this L column top number. Total gems bought is J column top number. And then in order to get number of gems net per day, if you just look at the increase here, right? Okay, I'm saying it's a positive number, even though it kind of is proven over the last little bit to be a negative number. We're going to eliminate the Thor drop, which was a $1.2 million drop in gems. And we're going to give the benefit of the doubt, even though we have some going up by 120,000. Today it went up by 40,000. So on average, we're going to say 50,000 gems per day coming into the app. I think it's a fair assessment. That's when there's no drops, no additional mints because there's no drops, and no additional burns pretty much because there's no new drops. So we're going to say static. It's about 50,000 per day, though I think it is more of a negative number depending how many drops come. So that's how we got the numbers. So let Rob explain it now using those numbers.
Well, yeah, like we just want to break this down just to get a perspective on the money coming in and the money that's there and how it interacts with the wallets that are there, as well as the number of mints on the app. So the first number we have here is $208, and that is the average number of gems per person available right now on the app. So the idea behind that is that it's okay, well, let's just take the number of gems in app and divide that by the number of unique wallets. That means of the 607,000 wallets, on average, you have 208 gems per person. So when you think about the floors that we're seeing with some of these grails, the only way that they will be able to buy them up is by adding in new gems to the system, which they're not really doing. It's quite a big gap from 208 up until, let's say, for example, Todd at now 3,300, right? The gap is wide, and that's the reason why you see this continuous undercutting. Now to the next number, $21.79 is the average number of gems in app available per mint. So that's if you take the number of gems in app and you divide that by the number of mints, which is 5.8 million. Now what you see when you spread it out all over the different mints, you can start understanding there's not a lot of money available per mint. For some of these floors that as high as they are, you would think that it would be a little bit higher than 21. And then one more, which is leading to the 50,000, why we think it's relevant. Basically, if you take 50,000 and you divide that by the number of mints in the app, you're pretty much adding 1 penny per mint per day. Obviously, when there's a drop, there's a whole bunch of new money to kind of buy up that drop. and it cancels itself out.
But the net on drop day, if we look at Thor, was negative 1.2 million. So that means that the burn from the transactions on drop day are far outpacing the money being brought into the app, at least for Thor.
Which I will say is a good thing. At least the drops are selling out. It's good for VEVE. They're getting revenue. It helps them fund their business. So the fact that people are bringing in new money in order to buy the new drops is definitely a good thing, because if that wasn't happening, this would look a lot worse, because eventually it would dry up and then it wouldn't sell out. And I don't know if we're going to return back to the days where you can buy from the store, because something like Thor took like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It wasn't too long ago that, and that's quick, by the way. I remember I bought Toronto Maple Leafs NFTs. It took them like 6 to 8 hours to sell out. They still sold out, but it took 6 to 8 hours. In my mind, if you sell out in general in a day, that's successful. So it's good that there are new money coming in to buy new gems, but the ultimate goal for the collector investors in the app who want these elite grails is you need the delta to be way more in this favor. And we're not seeing that. And we haven't seen that now for like a good, like 2 months. No. It's been flat. So if you're buying Todd, if you're buying WALT, if you're buying Secret Rare SpiderMan, if you do want to flip it, it gets a little tricky because you don't have that much people coming in with the money and the gems to buy it. And there's a huge debate about OpenSea. When OpenSea, you have a huge wealth of people that won't be shown in this data that will then be able to buy. But we're not at OpenSea market yet. It's just a closed island, as one superstar said in the comments, of VEVE. It's an island, and it's only what's available right now with us.
And we don't know how it's going to look once it's outside of VEVE. Like, obviously, it looks like you're only going to be able to use it on VEVE, even if you could take it off and hold it on OpenSea and buy and sell it there. But then those people would need to be able to bring it back to VEVE. So if they're not familiar, maybe it's not as attractive to them. Maybe they can't open it up, spin it around. Who knows, right? I don't know too much about OpenSea, so I don't know the limitations there. But the big number here to me is the 2179. That's how much you have per item in the app. If you were to liquidate the entire app and make everything equal, everything will cost 2179. And to me, the cheapest things right now are like some comics at $5. I think that's still too expensive to be the low end, especially when you have high end items at 3,000 listings. They're not gonna come close to that, especially with the money in the app.
It reminds me of like book value and then, price over book value ratios. Like it's okay to not be at a price that is equal to the book value in the app in terms of spreading out the money. Let's call it like that. But it's going to trade at some multiple because of the baked in expectation that there's going to be utility that's going to be worth something one day. So I get it. I get that it's going to be trading at a multiple. It's just, how do you get multiples of like 1,000? You know what I mean? Like some of the multiples on some of the high end stuff is just so high that you run into a situation where the floors just cannot be sustained in this current market. And we see that with Todd. Todd, you can see a massive whale came and just bought up Todd. Look at the listings just plummeted. And then a massive whale just came and bought them all up and pumped it from 3,000 back to 4.
And it was on Twitter, and everybody knows who it is. And they mentioned that they weren't gonna, or they think that it shouldn't be below 4, and that's where they are. Or not even that. They said that if you were wondering where all the Todd Batmans went under 4K, then he showed his transaction history. I guess let me pull up. We got some web app access. Thanks, Alex G, for hooking it up. Just joking, he didn't do that. He doesn't know my side account, but that was a couple days ago where 4K was bought up to 4K, and now look at how many listings are just coming in below 4K. It's actually like a lot of them, a lot like it drove the price down. It's not like there's 1 or 2 in between 4K now. You got a bunch of people coming in to list. And the other thing I was thinking, actually, if you bring back up your screen where you had the Excel.
Okay, 1 second, I'll pull it up.
It's if you think about it, every drop that comes out, even if it's not a very sought after drop, you're going to have the bottom portion of mints that people are going to value regardless of what the drop is. There's value. If you go to like the cheapest thing on the app, if you look at the double digit comics, if you look at the triple digit comics, even like sub 100 or sub 200, sub 300s, there's money there. There's value there, regardless of what it is. So that takes up a chunk of the money that will not be going into these grails as well, because those people there value those. They're like, these are worth a lot. They're double digit. They're whatever. They're not going for $5. They're going for hundreds. You know what I mean? So that takes equity out of the system, which maybe shouldn't be taken out of the system, because if it's a garbage collectible or a garbage comic, it should go for garbage prices. So that might be some of the places where money should be coming out in order to feed some of these more higher end collectibles, like Todd, for example. First Batman on the app, amazing collectible. It's just the way we're seeing things. What you see here, we gave a generous 50,000 gem increase per day, which I think it's a negative number, to be honest, but we gave the 50,000, and that only amounts to 1 penny per day added into the pool to buy up everything. And if you bring in more mints, that number is going to go down from a penny, because you have more mints now and you're only having an extra penny per day on average of what we're seeing in the system. So you have to think long term here. And if we hear, okay, marketing's coming, or like you said, if somebody tweets it, then you got to run to the computer. Maybe you have their notifications on, and then that's when maybe you attack and try to go for some of these girls, because that might be the beginning of people rushing to the app and figuring it out. But until that comes, and until there's that confirmation that we're going to be having more people coming into the app, more gems being bought, why am I buying anything right now when it's a continuous spiral straight down?
Well, yeah, like, and then we've been talking about this already. Like, you could buy it if you want to slowly pick it up, because we don't know that next Catalyst event. It just, when we think about it, in our opinion, we see the market right now with that Catalyst event not coming in May. And we did a video that maybe will come on June 4th, but then Superstar Alex G kind of just shut it down. He's like, no, guys, like, nothing's happening on June 4th. But we'll see. Maybe he's trolling us. Maybe he's trolling us and something does happen. We're like, oh, it's going to be the biggest day in VEVE's history and everything, right? But anyways, if they're not marketing, then I don't know what's going to flip this. And don't forget, Todd has 7,500 mints. So even if we have a whale come and buy up a bunch of those mints, at the end of the day, you could buy up 10 of them, whatever, 15 of them. There are still thousands of them available for someone to undercut, and they are, because they just want to sell out, but they can't, because people don't have the cash to buy it. And
2.5% sell fee too, right? So that helps.
And it's not just that. There's also WALT, which is something that people would love to own. WALT is known as one of the greatest grails on the app, but even this is not able to avoid the glorious dump. At 93.50 right now, it's in a bearish downtrend, and I think it's going to probably go lower if nothing changes. Again, there's still 4,333 mints. There's still going to be people. It doesn't take many of them, because at the end of the day, the market is just controlled by a group of people, and they can all say collectively, we refuse to sell. And our price for this is going to be 10,000, and all 4,330 people can get together and say, we're not selling for less than 10,000. But what they will probably find is that it's going to be very difficult to find a buyer at that price, because it's a market where everything's relative. So if someone has 10,000 gems and you refuse to sell and something else is dumping, then the money's going to go there instead. And then they will just have a very difficult time coordinating that and actually controlling the price. We saw it as well with Secret Rare SpiderMan finally, getting close to its all-time low. And it is at an all-time low from the last pump. It's at 21.5. It's the same idea. This one's actually a low mint. It's not that hard for 1,000 people to coordinate and say, I mean, it is kind of hard actually now I think about it, but still 1,000 is a lot easier to do than 4,000 to get together and be like, guys, we're not going to sell this for less. But even at 21.5, it gets pretty difficult to not try to undercut, because if you have your Secret Rare Spider-Man at the floor, you might find that you won't be able to sell it in today's market. You just can't. People don't have the gems. They're going to have to add the gems in to be able to buy it. That day, I think, will come. I think it's going to come eventually, but I don't think the day can come until the marketing starts. We came to VEVE because of Disney. Disney put it right on their Twitter. They put it right on their Twitter. They made it obvious in our face. This is a legitimate NFT of ours that we are promoting, and we came to the app because we were interested in those things. And I haven't seen a lot of that happening from the big IPs. And I don't think Jurassic Park's a big IP to promote that.
And there's macro issues at thing here. If you look at the stock market, you're bleeding. If you look at the crypto market, you're bleeding. If you look at NFTs, you're bleeding in general, right? So that doesn't help the situation. So why am I buying right now? There's no reason to buy right now. It's going to come back. This is the best NFT app that exists. They have the best IP. They have, if they want to, they can unload a huge marketing campaign that is unseen by any other IP. I think Disney can throw it on Disney Plus. They can do anything they want here. They have social media like Instagram, everything. So this is the fact that they're not marketing, to me, says hold on a little bit longer. Let things go down a little bit more. We're not fighting anything. We're still huge VEVE guys. We post on YouTube every single day about the project.
Fighting what? We can't FUD. It's not an investment app.
I knew you were waiting to say that one all day.
What's there to FUD?
It's true. It's just a collectibles app, guys. So just keep collecting what you like, and hold on to it. And don't look at the prices because they don't matter since you're only collecting them. Yeah, no, guys. Long term, this is going to do well. It just needs to have everything in place. And until that happens, there's no reason for me to go spend my hard-earned money to watch it go straight down to zero. But at zero, I wouldn't mind picking up a bunch of things.
At some point, I'm not there yet. I think at some point we're going to want to flip and be like, okay, let's start accumulating.
And we'll let you know. We'll let you know when we do that.
We just want the most efficient use of our gems. So like knowing that Catalyst event probably won't come anytime soon, it makes me hesitate to want to get in and start accumulating. I feel like the opportunity to accumulate is still going to be available. And every week that goes by, it looks like you chip away a little bit more at some of these floors. So anyways, I have nothing else to add. Do you?
No, I just wanted to mention, like, I tried playing the flip game last week with ASM 252, and I got burned on that hard. I bought it at 1,800 gems. I tried selling it for a profit. Nobody's buying that thing. Nobody is buying that thing, so I just delisted it. I'm holding on to it now at this point. I'm expecting it to go down eventually, just like everything else. Hopefully it doesn't go all the way down to back where I bought it because there was like a 700 gem difference. But if it does, it would be my own fault because I expected that to happen. So let's see what happens here. But as soon as we feel sentiment is changing, we're going to definitely let you guys know and let you know our plans of how we're going to tackle. We'll put a video of this is how we're tackling it. We think that changes, something like that. We'll let you know. We will not leave you in the dark. That's for sure.
Yeah. And you knew that, like we've talked about this. You already had a feeling. Like I think the one was at 2,200, and then that was at 1,800. You're like, let me see if I can just do a quick flip. He risked it. He knows that the gems are on that, but he risked it. He took it at 1,800, relisted it for 2,100 just to see. Obviously, it didn't work out for him. But to be honest with you, I'm not surprised, and I don't think you're surprised either that happened. And like you're like, whatever, I'll just hold it at this point. It's something that you have to decide. We know Joe is a degenerate gambler, and we support his gambling. So it doesn't surprise us. But anyways, if you haven't already, remember, become a superstar. Join the Superstar fam. Smash that subscribe button. We want to hear from you just like we want to hear from our superstar comic consultant, Del Champ, who we read out a beautiful description of today's drop. And I think that we can share that with the Superstar family, and we're glad to do so. And we want to hear from you too. We respond to every single comment. Whether you agree with us or disagree with us, we still want to hear from you. Let's share our ideas together. We get ideas from you guys all the time in the comments. We want to hear your perspective. And we will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.